Chosen one, listen to me carefully, because if this message disturbs you, it is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you. You were not just born into your family, you were sent into it. And not as another member, not as another observer, not as another participant in the same patterns. You were sent as the interruption, the breaker, the first. And the truth is, your bloodline has never seen someone like you before. That is why your life has felt heavier, lonelier, and more intense than anyone else's around you. This message is not for everyone watching. If you are still here, it is because something in your spirit already knows this is about you. Before I go any further, I want you to mark this moment. Like this video, subscribe now, and turn on notifications. Not out of routine, but as a declaration that you are ready to receive truth, not comfort. And stay with me, because what I am about to reveal will explain your entire life in a way nothing ever has. You are the first true chosen one of your bloodline, and that is why nothing about your life has been ordinary. From the moment you became aware of yourself, you felt different. Not better. Not superior. Different. You saw things others ignored. You questioned things others accepted. You felt uncomfortable in environments where everyone else felt normal. That was not rebellion. That was recognition. Your spirit could sense that something was off long before your mind had language for it. You were born into a lineage that survived, adapted, coped, and repeated. But you were born to confront, to end, and to change. That is why your soul never fully settled into the family narrative. Look back. You were the one who noticed the dysfunction early, the emotional silence, the generational wounds no one talked about, the addictions, the fear, the control, the lack, the cycles of broken relationships, financial struggle, spiritual confusion. Others normalized it. You questioned it. Others avoided it. You carried it. And because you carried it, you paid a price they never did. You were not protected the same way. You were not excused the same way. You were not allowed to remain asleep the way others were. While they blended in, you stood out. While they coped, you broke down. While they numbed themselves, you felt everything. This is one of the first signs that you are the first true chosen one of your bloodline. God awakens the breaker early. And early awakening is painful. You were burdened with awareness before you were equipped with answers. You may have felt like the black sheep, the odd one, the one who never quite fit, even when you tried. Family dynamics may have positioned you as the problem, the sensitive one, the difficult one, the one who changed, the one who distanced themselves. But the truth is, you did not change. You woke up. And awakening threatens systems that survive on silence. When one person sees clearly, the whole illusion shakes. This is why resistance came from your own blood. You were misunderstood not because you were wrong, but because you were early. Your questions exposed what others were not ready to face. Your boundaries disrupted generational expectations. Your refusal to tolerate what they endured silently made you seem rebellious, prideful, or ungrateful. But deep down, your spirit knew you could not carry forward what nearly destroyed those before you. And this is where the pain intensified. The first chosen one in a bloodline is not celebrated. They are resisted. Because they carry an assignment that threatens familiarity. You were called to break agreements that were signed long before you were born. Agreements with fear, with silence, with dysfunction, with survival over truth. And when those agreements sense their end, they fight back. That is why your life felt like constant pressure. The warfare was not random. The isolation was not accidental. The repeated setbacks were not bad luck. The enemy recognized your role before you did. Long before you understood your purpose, darkness understood your potential, and it moved early to discourage you, exhaust you, confuse you, and convince you that you were the problem. But you survived. Not because life was gentle with you, but because something in you refused to die. You have endured things that would have broken others in your family line. Emotional neglect, spiritual confusion, financial instability, betrayal from people who should have protected you, loneliness that lasted years, not weeks, seasons where God felt silent and help felt distant. And still, you are here, still searching, still questioning, still refusing to settle for numbness. That endurance is not personality. It is proof of assignment. Another sign you are the first true chosen one is that you cannot live comfortably in compromise. Others in your bloodline may repeat cycles without inner resistance. You try once, and your spirit revolts. You feel conviction where others feel justification. You feel unrest where others feel peace. This is not because you are weak. It is because your spirit carries a higher standard. Heaven guards you more strictly because more has been entrusted to you. God disciplines breakers differently. You may have noticed that whenever you try to live small, something inside you collapses. You cannot pretend long. You cannot numb forever. You cannot ignore your calling without consequences. Depression, anxiety, restlessness, or dissatisfaction may rise whenever you attempt to shrink yourself to survive. That is not punishment. That is alignment, forcing you forward. The chosen breaker cannot live below their assignment. You are also given unusual sensitivity, not emotional fragility but spiritual perception. You feel atmospheres. You sense when people are lying, even when they sound convincing. You pick up on unspoken tension. You carry emotional weight that does not always belong to you. This sensitivity was not meant to overwhelm you, but to prepare you. Breakers need discernment sharper than comfort. That sensitivity made childhood harder. You likely matured faster than you should have. You carried responsibilities that were not yours. You learned self-reliance early because help was inconsistent. You learned to read rooms, manage emotions, and adapt to instability. While others were protected, you were prepared. And preparation is never gentle. Another sign is that your life path looks nothing like the one modeled for you. You do not desire the same things. You do not chase the same markers of success. You feel called toward meaning, truth, and purpose more than comfort or approval. And when you try to want what they want, it feels empty. That is because you were not born to extend the bloodline's old story. You were born to write a new one. This is why you feel alone even when surrounded. Breakers walk ahead of understanding. They carry blueprints before structures exist. They live out answers before questions are widely asked. That is why affirmation often comes late. Recognition comes after resistance. And clarity comes after confusion. But here is the truth you need to hear now. If you are the first true chosen one of your bloodline, your life will make sense only in reverse. You will not understand the weight while you are carrying it. You will understand it when you see what changes because you refuse to quit. Your obedience will ripple into generations you may never meet. Your healing will unlock freedom for people who never thanked you. Your courage will rewrite outcomes for children not yet born. And that is why the cost was high. God does not choose the most comfortable to break cycles. He chooses the most resilient, the most honest, the most willing to feel pain without becoming cruel. the most willing to stand alone without becoming bitter. And if this message feels like it is reading your history, your wounds, and your questions all at once, it is because this is not general encouragement. This is identification. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating. You are not too much. You are early. You are marked. You are the first. And this is only the beginning of understanding who you truly are. Chosen one. Now we are stepping into the truth most people are never told. Resistance does not increase because you are failing. Resistance increases because you are close. And not close in an emotional sense, close in a spiritual, generational, irreversible sense. Right before breakthrough, the pressure intensifies because what you are about to shift cannot be undone once it moves. Darkness does not panic when you struggle. It panics when you stabilize. It does not react when you fall. It reacts when you stand with clarity. And that is exactly where you are now. You may have noticed that just when you began to understand yourself, when you finally set boundaries, when you started choosing peace over chaos, the resistance changed shape. It became more subtle, more strategic, more personal. Old wounds resurfaced. Old voices grew louder. Old patterns tried to reintroduce themselves with new disguises. This is not coincidence. This is the final defense of a system that knows its time is ending. The reason resistance increases right before breakthrough is because you are no longer fighting for survival. You are fighting for authority. Survival keeps you reactive. Authority makes you decisive. And once you step into authority, you stop feeding the cycles that kept the bloodline bound. You stop over-explaining. You stop proving. You stop negotiating your worth. And when that happens, the old structures lose their grip. This is why the attacks feel more targeted now. Earlier in life, the resistance was loud and chaotic. Confusion, pain, instability. But now it feels psychological. Doubt disguised as logic. Fear disguised as caution. Temptation disguised as comfort. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being tested because you are strong enough to pass. Chosen one, the enemy does not escalate when someone is asleep. He escalates when someone is awake and walking forward anyway. You may feel misunderstood again even after all your growth. That is because when you outgrow survival mode, you stop speaking the language of trauma, and not everyone can understand healing. You may feel isolated again, but this time it is different. This time you're not alone because you are broken. You're alone because you're becoming precise. Precision requires separation. Right before breakthrough, resistance often comes through familiar faces, not new enemies. Familiar ones. People who benefited from the old version of you. People who felt comfortable when you were smaller, quieter, more accommodating. When you shift, it threatens the balance they depended on. And instead of adjusting, some will resist you. Not openly, subtly, through guilt, through misunderstanding, through emotional distance. This is one of the clearest signs you are close. Breakthrough threatens comfort zones, especially in families. When one person breaks a cycle, the entire system has to confront what it avoided. And systems built on avoidance will try to pull the breaker back into silence. This is why you may feel pressure to return to old roles, old expectations, old emotional positions. Not because they are right, but because they are familiar. Do not confuse familiarity with alignment. Another reason resistance increases is because you are no longer numbing yourself. You are present. And presence makes everything more intense before it becomes clear. When you stop dissociating, you feel the weight fully for a moment. That does not mean you are regressing. It means you are integrating. Healing often hurts more right before it stabilizes. You may feel tired in a way sleep does not fix. That is not physical exhaustion. That is spiritual labor nearing completion. You have been carrying what was never meant to last forever. And when something heavy is about to be released, the body often feels it first. Chosen one, right before breakthrough, the mind becomes a battleground. Thoughts like, what if nothing changes? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm alone forever? Start circling. These thoughts are not prophetic. They are defensive. They are the last attempt to keep you small through fear. Fear always speaks in hypotheticals. Truth speaks in clarity. Notice this. The resistance is no longer stopping you from moving. It is trying to slow you down emotionally. That is because momentum has already been established. You are moving whether you feel confident or not. And the only remaining strategy is discouragement. But discouragement only works if you agree with it. You have also likely noticed that distractions are losing their appeal. What once pulled you in now feels hollow. Temporary pleasure no longer numbs the discomfort. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Breakthrough requires sobriety of spirit. You cannot step into authority while sedated by distraction. Another sign of nearing breakthrough is impatience with dishonesty. You see through things quickly now. You feel irritation when people avoid truth. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. When clarity sharpens, tolerance for confusion decreases, and confusion fights back before it leaves. Right before breakthrough, life often tries to negotiate with you. It offers comfort in exchange for your calling, ease in exchange for obedience, familiar pain instead of unfamiliar freedom. This is where many people stop. Not because they cannot break through, but because they get tired right before the release. But chosen one, hear this clearly. You did not survive everything you survived to stop here. The resistance increasing is proof that something irreversible is forming. You are not circling the same lesson anymore. You are finishing it. And completion always draws resistance because completion means closure. It means the cycle cannot repeat. It means the old agreements lose access. That is why emotions feel amplified. That is why dreams feel vivid. That is why intuition feels louder. That is why your spirit feels alert. You are standing at the edge of a shift that will not just affect you. It will alter the trajectory of your bloodline. And bloodline shifts are never gentle. They are precise, costly, and permanent. Chosen one, do not interpret resistance as a sign to retreat. It is a sign to remain steady. Do not rush. Do not force. Do not fight emotionally. Stay grounded. Stay observant. Stay aligned. Authority does not need to shout. It only needs to stand. What you are feeling now is not collapse. It is compression. And compression always comes right before release. Chosen one, if this message spoke directly to your spirit, do not let it pass quietly. Like this video to seal what you received. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what God is revealing next. Share this message with another chosen one who needs confirmation right now. What you carry is not ordinary, and what's coming will not arrive by accident.